The system is falling. Hi everyone, I am Jamie Bates and I am so excited to be here today. It's been a minute since I've done a video, but today I wanted to take some time and space to talk to you all about what we are moving through. So if you've been a client of mine over the past 11 years that I've been an online coach, you know that I have been talking about the fall of the system ever since I started online coaching in 2014. Really, I've been talking about the shift that's happening, the evolution, since 2012 out loud publicly, especially on my podcast and whatnot. And I actually published this book in 2019, and I talk about a lot of the theories that I believe that we are moving through energetically. So let's talk about what's going on right now. The system is falling. Okay, so from December 21st, 2012 to December 21st, 2021, just want to get these dates right, we went through a massive change in the earth. And during that time frame, many people started waking up. Right? We started to realize that we needed to change the way that we live our lives. We need to change a lot of the ways that we exist here in this reality. And since then, we have been moving through what I like to call the ascension portal. So that actually started in December 21st, 2021, and is going all the way through to December 21st, 2030. And what that is actually doing is it's assisting us to deconstruct the 3D system that we have all been functioning and stuck in really since the beginning of our time here. We've been stuck in the 3D reality, and now we are moving through to the 5D reality. So what does that mean for you personally? Well, that means it's time to evolve. It's time to let go of those outdated form and structures that you are functioning in that no longer work for you, okay? Because what we are going through is we are releasing everything that we have been programmed with that no longer belongs to us. Okay, so each and every one of us right now are being called to action. We are being called to look at our belief systems, our viewpoints, and we are being called to release the ones that insult our souls. So the system is falling. And what that means is everything that has been built in the 3D now needs to be destroyed, uncreated, so we can create a system that actually works for us. And that's literally what we're moving through right now. We are literally watching the fall of the system in real time. And I know that a lot of people are having a lot of issues with it. And now for those of us that have been doing consciousness work, we've been really focusing on ourselves for the last few years. We've been really focusing on holding space of peace and ease. And I want to say, if you've been doing that, I commend you. It's been a difficult journey, that's for sure. And especially right now with the amount of people that we have in emotional upset. You know what they say in the Matrix movie that the people will fight to the death of the system that they're here to protect? Well, we're seeing that right now. We're literally watching in real time as the system is collapsing. Not only just government systems, but medical systems, but pharmaceutical, but teaching, education, right? I mean, all around, everything is falling. And so right now, it's really important that we as individuals make sure that we are creating time and space to make sure that we are allowing ourselves to process through the destruction of the 3D matrix, because the reality is it's part of us, okay? And some of the falling of it feels really painful. It feels really hard to move through. So what I do, what I specialize in as a consciousness facilitator, is I help people move through the density of the lower levels that they cannot release so they can be free of the old patterns, the old structures, the old forms that they've gotten caught in over their lifetimes, even maybe just this lifetime of abuse and struggle paradigms that we've all been kind of thrust into, if you will. And this is a lifetime that we get to move into something different. So let's talk about step number 1 into getting into a new space for you. I have just started this new YouTube channel, and my goal is to kind of help walk you through some tools and some processes that you can use to help free you from that 3D lower level matrix. So first and foremost, how do I know if I am still wrapped up in the 3D matrix? Well, key indicator, if you are still having a lot of emotional reaction to what's going on, that is a key indication that you are still pretty rooted in the 3D. Now, this is not a wrongness, it's not a contest. We don't have to, rush to the end. But what we want to really start noticing is, how am I engaging in the world? Because here's the deal. If you are still in a lot of emotional upset, that means that you have a lot of polarity. So let's talk about this. Polarity is right and wrong, good and bad. It's everywhere that you are righteous for or against anything. It's everywhere that you defend for or against anything. It's essentially everywhere that you resist and react. It's all of those things combined, okay? When we are in the system of polarity, we tend to gauge everything as right, wrong, good, bad. And once we decide if something is right or wrong or good or bad, then we have to fight against it to change it or to align with more of our point of view. Okay, that's very rooted in the 3D. Now we are moving, we are ascending, we are evolving beyond the paradigms of polarity. So what that means, in order for you to evolve, you have to get out of the systems of polarity. That means that you have to stop making life right and wrong and good and bad. You have to understand that all of those things, and as we can see right now, and if you're alive right now, and if you're on social media right now, you are very aware that the varying viewpoints of this world go very, very large. Right? We have people on one side of the spectrum and people on the other side of the spectrum. Now, everybody fights for their point of view being right. But the reality is there isn't a right and wrong. Now, there are core truths, okay, which is different than right and wrong. Because a truth does not need to be defended. A truth is not something that you have to align or agree with or resist and react to. Now, if you are in that space where you are resisting and reacting, defending everything, that is just a key indicator that you aren't in the core truth. Now, that's not a wrongness, because the reality is we've all been programmed, okay? Every single person on this planet has been programmed with certain viewpoints. Now, it's not necessarily wrong to be programmed with viewpoints, but in order to evolve, we're looking at this new paradigm emerging. By 2030, we're going to have a new paradigm that has emerged, okay? In order for that new paradigm to emerge, and you've probably all heard Trump say, and regardless of how you feel about Trump, he is here to transform and to destroy the system. That is his job. He is the system destroyer, okay? So that's bringing up a lot of things for people, right? Now, if you don't get into the polarity of it, the right and wrong and the good and the bad, and you just acknowledge that we needed somebody to destroy the system, this is the person who is willing to do this for us. That's an amazing, wonderful thing. He is freeing us with the truth. I just want you to really feel that for a moment. Now, if you're feeling all enraged and engaged about that, it is what it is, and I'm not going to defend my point of view either way. I'm just here to let you know that that is what's going on. Now, I will tell you that I have been doing this work, personally doing this work for over 20 years. Okay, I started this work in my teens, really. So it's actually it's been a process for me of really discovering what it is that we are doing through this evolution. And essentially what we're doing is we are changing our programs. Okay? So rooted in the 3D is the programs. Now, if you're feeling enraged, that means that you are upholding the programs. Now, again, I understand that that's a weird viewpoint, and I understand that a lot of people are probably going to have some issues with that, and that's okay, because it's the truth. Okay? A trigger is a call to action. If you are triggered by anything that's going on right now, this is a call to action for you. Now, let me explain why. Because when we are triggered and we are upset with something, we are contributing energy to it. Okay? So if you're really angry about what's going on right now, all you're doing is fueling what's going on right now. Okay? Now, the space of no trigger allows us to move through what's going on right now into a new space. Now, if you're triggered, what happens is you get emotionally upset in what's going on right now, right? And you start energetically projecting what you want. You start fighting for what's right and wrong, good and bad. And again, when you fight for anything, you contribute to it. Okay, so all the people that we have in upset and rage right now, you're just helping it along. Okay, now I'm not saying that we shouldn't help it along, but really the best space that we can be for it is to be space, because that allows us to integrate the truth. It allows us to create something different. It allows us to move through the heavy, dense layers of programming, and it allows us to focus on what we do desire to create. So when we remove ourselves from the system of polarity, we are actually contributing more space to a better reality showing up. And that's really what we're moving through. So we're moving through the deconstruction of the system. We are watching the government fall, the education department fall, the health system fall, okay? And now I promise you that the fall of this system is going to create something greater, okay? Because this has been written in the galaxies. Okay, I started actually studying ascension in the 90s. Now, I had no idea what that was going to look like, here in 2025. But I will tell you that the whole premises of this is to release us from the heavy and denseness stuff, the struggle paradigms. Okay, so we're moving from the 3D to the 5D. In the 5D, we don't have the struggle, the lower level polarities of abuse. We don't have the paradigms of poverty, okay? We are literally moving into the golden age. So how can you make the best for you into the golden age? Well, number one, if you're really having a hard time and you're really in a lot of upset and struggle, this book right here, the Empaths Guidebook, is for you, okay? This book is designed to help you release yourself from those lower levels of polarity. I also have a free series on consciousempath.com that you can check out as well. Now, I also, if you feel like, I'm not really in too much upset, but I don't really know what I should be doing right now. I feel like I don't want to be engaging in those lower levels anymore, but I don't really know how to move forward. I just released my newest book. It's called The Miracle Maker. Now, this book has tons of daily rituals. It's really about understanding your tonal frequency, what you are projecting out into the reality, and what is returning to you, and how to manage that for yourself. How to understand what tonal frequencies you are creating for yourself, and how to embrace creating a tonal frequency that is really going to work for you. So this book right here is just chocked full of daily rituals of things that you can do throughout your day to really keep your vibration high. Because what's happening is those of us that are collectively upholding the space of peace and ease are going to be the first creators of what's next, okay? So the reality is the more that you can stay in the peace and ease, the more that you can stay in the frequency that you desire to see in this reality, the more you're going to create massive change for yourself. And when you change yourself, you change everyone around you. People have been doing this work with me for years. They have not only changed their energy, space, and consciousness, but they have assisted their family, their loved ones, their friends to also change theirs. Because the reality is none of us want to live in struggle any longer. Okay, this is not about right or wrong or good or bad. This is about understanding that we are all evolving beyond this. And there are some people that are really upholding the system still, and that's okay. We don't have to be the effect of that. We get to decide what we contribute energy to. And it's time to keep your vibe high. It's time to focus on what you desire. After all, we're in a 9-year right now. And the 9 year says that anything that isn't working for you, it's time to go. Okay. Now, I also have my podcast, The Conscious Empath, where I've been sharing all kinds of tips and tools. And I have my old podcast, Expand Your Reality, that has tons of clearings. So if you're new to my work, welcome. I'm so grateful that you're here. I am so ready to start diving in and sharing tips and tools on the regular for you. This is just kind of my introduction video here as I begin my new YouTube channel journey. So if you enjoyed this video, please comment, tell me where you're from, and let me know that you're listening and you're ready to evolve. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.